Good afternoon, Southern California, AM 1220, KHTS. The show is Fred Arnold on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber Spotlight. I've got Ben Griffith.
Yes, Griffiths.
From Carpet One. And I always used to call it Brent's Carpet One because your father started the company. And your father's Brent. And
yes.
You're Benjamin Brent, right?
Yes, I am.
Got that right. So you are an expert when it comes. You grew up around this stuff, didn't you?
I did.
Yes. So you're passionate about it. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been around and about your firm, the company your dad started.
Sure. My dad started the company in 1979, so we're going on 33 years here in Newhall. I think about 13 years into it, he joined a cooperative of carpet companies called Carpet One. So he changed his name from Brent's Fashion Floors to Brent's Carpet One.
Okay, so that's how you got the Carpet One.
So that's the change.
So you're a part of a bigger buying group, if you will.
Correct.
It allows you to have better buying power, doesn't it, than a smaller firm would?
Yeah, there are a few advantages. We get better prices because they have national negotiated prices with 1,800 stores. But we also have leverage with the manufacturers. If something's wrong, we can have the cooperative call them and say, hey, this isn't right, get it right, and we can get new material and get things fixed faster because they're more cooperative working with the bigger entity.
Yeah, and that's the way customers want. They want good quality. And quality means different things to different people. But if you got a lower end carpet, there's still a certain quality element of that lower end carpet.
Correct.
You get a higher end product, or if you get a middle of the road, there's a certain expectation of that product, and that's why that's absolutely critical.
Yes.
People want quality service and quality product now. It's just not the product. It's just not the service. They want both, don't they?
Has to come together.
What makes you different than other firms that do flooring here in the Santa Clarita Valley?
You know, you can go to all the typical, the experience, our integrity, that kind of stuff. But flooring is a category where people don't know very much about it. And there's a lot of things that you don't see. So if you don't go with a reputable store that will take care of you on all of those items, for example, when you're getting carpet, they have to seam it. The seam tape, most stores allow their installers to provide their own seam tape. But the installers choose the cheapest seam tape because it saves them money. We provide all our installers with all their materials. That means our glues, our seam tapes, they're all top-notch quality, and so things last longer than if the installer's buying their materials because they're not that inexpensive.
You know, one thing I like about it is the firm's been around a long time, and reputation in this valley is really critical. And so you can't be around that many years without having a great reputation and making sure people are happy.
That's right.
I think that speaks for itself. And you're a proud member of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Let's get into flooring just real briefly. I want to touch upon a few things. I had mentioned I'm a big fan of tile.
Right.
Because I got 2 dogs and I've got 4 children that spill things.
Right.
And it's easier to clean up tile in many cases if you drop something that, unless, of course, the tile cracks. And we've never had that problem, but I love it. But so it's great for those purposes, isn't it?
Correct.
Children, dogs, spill areas.
Kitchens where there's lots of water, bathrooms where there's lots of water, tiles are going to hold up where other floors are damaged.
Yes. And then, but you had mentioned that some people like the softer feel of
tile
wood.
can be a little, it's like standing on concrete. So for people who are in the home, standing in the kitchen for hours at a time, cooking elaborate meals,
you're going to get
tile
me in trouble.
usually isn't
my wife's
the best.
standing in the kitchen most of the time. She's going to want something.
Right. Yeah, it can hurt your hips and your ankles.
Sure.
They can just ache after a while, whereas hardwood and vinyls sometimes don't do that.
Yeah.
So there are pros and cons.
Yeah, some people don't think of that. Many housewives or house husbands,
right?
They're in the kitchen 90% of the time because the kitchen's where everything is. It's where your computer is. It's where the refrigerator is. Where the cooking is. That's where everything is.
Right.
And I'm sure my wife, she doesn't have a chair, her own office chair in the kitchen.
Right.
So she stands. So yeah, great point.
Yeah.
When people think about design, when they first call you in, I tell you what, just changing carpet and putting clean carpet can make the world of difference. But the color you choose is critical.
It is.
Because it really sets the tone for the home, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah, the color's a big deal. There are tones that are more relaxing, tones that get you in different kinds of moods. It also is the texture. Looser textures that are not cut quite so neatly are a little more casual. So a lot of homes now especially are trending towards that casual feel. Some people want their homes really elegant, and the smoother, perfectly cut carpets really lend themselves to that.
Are Berbers, as I say that right, Berbers, that's still in style? I know for years it was.
Yeah.
Because like that in the living room or dining room.
Yeah, the original Berbers, the material they were made out of is no longer popular. They're still offered, but most people are going to, now it's called a looped carpet because it's made with the traditional nylons that we use. In regular carpets, it's very soft, but it just has a loop to it rather than being a cut.
You know, one thing we did, we gambled and we put this thick shag carpet, but a nice color in the family room, and the kids loved laying on it.
Yeah.
The dogs love laying on it too.
Very soft and comfy.
Yeah, it was nice and soft and comfy. But even with that, you need to be careful you don't have a vacuum that sucks too hard, because then it frays. There's so many things you have to know, isn't there?
Yeah, vacuums tend to tear apart the really long carpets just because the agitator bars are so hard they will damage the tips of the carpet of a long carpet like that.
Yeah, so you got to know to adjust it, or at least have whoever's vacuuming, your 7-year-old, your 10-year-old, or whoever it is that vacuums in the house.
Yep.
Also, I want to talk about upstairs bathrooms.
Sure.
I love linoleum in my children's bathrooms. You can get linoleum that looks like wood, can't you?
It looks good, yeah. Their patterns are much better. The technology for the printing gives you kind of a depth to it that they've never had before.
Not only that, if you have a water spill, which people do, or you have a wet bathing suit, or whatever it is that children have a tendency to leave, or a dropped cup, it's like that linoleum holds it like
it doesn't even
like
matter.
another cup.
Yeah, it just sits right there until you clean it up.
Yeah, exactly. I love
As long
that.
as you don't flood it to damage baseboards and the walls and stuff, it'll just take it and keep going.
So we also we didn't touch upon, and we just have a couple minutes. You know, there's marbles. There's travertine. That's new, or are people over
People
that
have
yet?
been using those stones for a long time. The problem is they are really high maintenance.
Okay,
they have to be sealed every year, or dirt gets into the pores of the stone and it starts looking ugly. So in a lot of cases, we'll recommend people get a nice porcelain instead because of the lack of maintenance.
And the porcelains look
They're gorgeous.
Outstanding. And
Yeah,
all
technology is improving all the time.
Yeah, good stuff. So those, now I know you're on Lyons Avenue.
Yes.
Right, just, what is it, just east of the 5 freeway.
Right, Lyons and Wiley.
Well, exactly. I used to go by there for elementary school every day.
Yep.
Years ago. And phone number.
661-255-3337.
And email, or I'm sorry, not email, but a website, because you have great samples. You have a great website.
BrentsCarpet1.com.
BrentsCarpet1.com. The phone number.
All spelled out, all lowercase.
Perfect. And Ben, one more time.
The phone number, 661-255-3337.
Ben Griffiths.
That's right.
From Brent's Carpet One, or Carpet One.
Yes.
Thanks for being a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Good stuff. Thanks for being a part of our community.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And tell your father thank you for me.
I will. He's at the store listening now.
Excellent. Brent's, or actually Carpet One.
It's Brent's Carpet One.
Brent's Carpet
That's right.
One. And this has been your spotlight, your Santa Cruz Valley Business Spotlight on AM 1220.